Hey guys, it's Brenda. On today's episode, I had a guest lined up, but it didn't work out. So I did have a backup plan. This is another one of the things that I learned later on, but I missed out on some really great things because I didn't know it sooner. But one thing, especially when our kids first get diagnosed, we don't really, there's so much stuff thrown at us, there's so much information. There's so many things to field through, but the one thing that I highly recommend that you make sure that you sit down and read is your child's medical benefit summary. Recently, I had a friend tell me that the current plan that Ruby is on, CMS Medicaid, covers $250 a year for utilities, and I had no idea. They do ask you every, year, or like when you do your wellness checks, like, are you okay? How are you doing? And things like that. But I think I'm like most people always just say, yeah. And I don't really answer those questions truthfully, which is what leads to me not knowing benefits are there that are there for us. I myself don't like to take help, but the way that I look at those benefits is that whether I take them or not, um, they're not taking away from anyone else. So they're there, they're designated for me and Ruby. And I just want to go over a few of the things that I noticed when I did start looking after that to see what I was missing out on. So for if your child has CMS Medicaid, this is what would, and this is through Sunshine Health. I think there's some other plans I'm not familiar with, but whatever plan you're on, definitely look at what is there because they may have other stuff that's available. But there's a digital blood pressure cuff and weight scale that you could get once every 3 years. This one's huge. Caregiver behavioral health services for non-Medicaid caregivers. So it says this benefit covers caregiver counseling provided in an individual or group setting for non-Medicaid caregivers of members to help address any needs he or she may have, e.g., burnout, depression, high stress levels, to help caregivers to continue caring for their members. That's huge. I don't think that enough emphasis can be put on the mental toll that raising a child with a disability takes on their caregivers. Caregiver burnout is a real thing. And I think it happens to all of us. And never knowing that the counseling is there, um, I've missed out on that this whole time for this whole journey. It's something I'm definitely going to look into now that I know that it's there, but I didn't know it was there until I looked at the benefits. If you're the person that you're taking care of, your child has asthma, you can get a carpet cleaning. Um, it's based on benefit allowed by household and based on diagnosis. You can get 2 carpet cleanings per year, and that would be something you'd have to contact your care manager to determine eligibility. They have a cell phone program. You can get a free smartphone. Um, it includes minutes, data, and texts. Um, this one is um, computerized cognitive behavior analysis for non-Medicaid caregivers, including but not limited to the following: health-focused clinical interview, behavioral observations, um, psychological, sociological monitoring, um, and you would just need prior authorization for that. Um, they do have some things like a flu pandemic prevention kit, um, HEPA filter vacuum cleaner for people with, I believe this one's for asthma as well. Yeah, for qualified members with asthma. Um, Home delivered meals. Members may be eligible to receive 10 meals for nutritional support. Um, Home delivered meals, disaster preparedness relief, and they give you one emergency meal kit annually. That was something I had no idea of. Um, if they leave a facility, um, a hospital or a nursing facility, they can get 10 meals per authorized request. The housing assistance, like I said, it's $250 per year plus 75 per quarter for health food items. I did know about that part, and I have been receiving that. But I did not know about the $250 per year. And unfortunately, if you're not honest when the care coordinator is talking to you, which, like I said, a lot of people aren't. A lot of times when they call me, I'm either at work or I'm busy. And so I just really want to get off the phone as fast as possible. So I don't open up and say, this is what I'm dealing with, or this is what I'm struggling with. And because of that, I had no idea. And I was able to use that benefit for my electric bill at the end of summer. And it was very quick. It was a very easy process. Um, and I think they had it put on my account in like 4 days. So that was pretty nice. And individual therapy sessions for caregivers to address behavioral health needs for the caregivers of members. Um, Legal guardianship. This is available for members who are in a SNF or PDN setting, and parent is obtaining guardianship to protect individuals who are unable to care for their own well-being. Maximum of $500 per eligible enrollee per lifetime. That's huge. That is a huge expense that we have to undergo whenever they are turning 18. And even though it's $500, it's not like the entire amount. That's still great, like towards the entire amount, which a lot of us can't really afford whenever that time comes. Um, non-emergency transportation day trips. They get a meal stipend available for long distance medical appointment day trips. Up to $20 per meal, up to 3 meals per day, up to $200 per day, up to $1,000 per year for trips greater than 100 miles. That used to be a lot shorter of mileage. I think when Sunshine Health took over, that changed some. But now it's 100 miles, but it's still, they offer that benefit, and you can get meals reimbursed for your child or the person that you're taking care of with a disability when you go on those long trip appointments. Um, Nutritional counseling, assessment, hands-on care, education, and guidance to caregivers and members about nutrition. That's probably a huge thing, at least in the autism community, and maybe even others too. I know some disabilities like Down syndrome oftentimes come with a lot of food struggles on the opposite end of autism, where they eat a lot, and autistic people on the autism spectrum oftentimes only eat certain things. So that is something that can help you maybe navigate some of that. Over the counter, each head of household is eligible to receive $25 worth of over the counter items per month that are mailed to their home. Um, and that, I mean, that can be like, some people have to use Miralax. Some people need a lot of Band-Aids. Those are the things that you can use with that benefit. Swimming lessons, I did not know about that either. Members can receive group swimming lessons from the YMCA. In areas where the YMCA does not exist, members may be able to use a local swimming lesson vendor, and they get up to 8 sessions. That's huge. Um, And let's see. Adapted devices receive items to help members move around the home, one per year. Benefit counseling. You can receive benefit counseling services, 3 sessions per plan year. Financial counseling, 6 sessions per plan year. Pest control, you can receive pest control services up to 500 annual per member's household. Didn't know that. Respite care provides caregivers temporary rest from caregiving, 200 hours of in-home respite care, 10 days out of the home respite care. Must not receive respite services through model or developmental disability waiver. That is huge. And while I first looked at that and was like, oh, I don't know that I would want a stranger in my house. Oftentimes, these services will allow people that you know to go and get certified through them. They might have a little course or whatever. And I have some amazing people in my life that I would absolutely have Ruby, let Ruby stay with. And those people can get paid through the companies to help you, especially in times where you really need a break. So it doesn't have to be a stranger. It oftentimes the requirements to get on board are just some classes, maybe some CPR, maybe not. I mean, it just really depends on the company, but sometimes it can be somebody that you know personally, and that way you're getting that service by someone that you know and trust, and you're able to use that benefit. So I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about this. There are some really good things on here that I'm going to start using because they're there. They're there for me for a reason. And I highly encourage you, go look up your child's medical benefits, especially if they're on some sort of state plan. Oftentimes those plans are designed for our lives and with the needs that we have in mind. They go off of what the members say that they need the most. Some of them are a quick call to your care provider. Some of them are talk to your child's pediatrician. They might need to do some authorization, but definitely go online. And I just found all this through a Google search. So it's not something that is really like hidden. It's really easy to access. Highly recommend that you do that. And I know that there's always a lot that's being thrown at you, especially when you have like early in the diagnosis. There's a lot, but getting familiar with those benefits. And so a couple years ago, Sunshine Health had taken over for another company. And obviously, when that stuff happens, the plan changes. So looking at that annually, because honestly, that could be your very best friend. Just knowing that you have those benefits there, they're there for you to use, can really help you um, in this journey. And so taking the time to look at those annually is very important. It's something I didn't do for 14 years. I think I did the math on the electric benefit or the utilities, and I think I lost out on like $3,000. And I've never not been in a situation where I couldn't use the help. Obviously, if you go to an agency, it's something where it's a dire need, but this is something that is there for you and your family, and you taking that benefit does not affect if anyone else is going to get it. And I certainly could have used that benefit over the years, and I just didn't know it was there. So I hope you guys found some value in this short episode, and I hope to have my guest on next week. Thanks so much. Bye.